Hi FlossTube, I'm Sally, StitchySally here on YouTube and also over on Instagram. Today is the 9th of November 2022, Wednesday, and this is FlossTube number 37. A very warm welcome to my channel, which is about cross stitch. If I have any live stuff, I leave it till the end and then you can just skip through it. I am going to give a little life update now. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll already know about this. Sorry. You may notice it's a little quiet. And that's because our sweet boy Freddie the budgie passed away the Saturday after I last filmed, so the 29th of October. It was sudden. He'd been fine, was absolutely fine on the day, and he became ill very suddenly and passed away very quickly, which obviously was a blessing. We couldn't have even got him to a vet. It was that quick. We're heartbroken. He was everything to us. May just be a little bird to other people, but to us he was everything. And it's horrible. It's horrible without him. We often turn around to say bye to him when we're leaving the house, which is what we always did. Always said bye to him, always said hello to him. Come down in the morning, say hello to him, talk to him. And it's just horrible. So yeah, because I know a lot of you really liked to hear him, and I know there's some of you here that don't follow me on Instagram, so I just needed to get that out there first, because it's quiet and it's horrible. Right, I'm going to move on now, and I'm going to get into the stitching and stuff, so I'm just going to put that out of the way because I don't know why I've left that there. So I have a few FFOs. I have one which is a refinish, some new starts, some finishes, and just the usual whips and some haul, and then I'm also going to talk about some plans for next month. I know I will have another floss tube before then, but I'm going to do it now. This is floss tube, not right now. So for a start off, this is Modern Folk Embroidery Move Forward in Love, which was the Pride Sal for 2022. I've just finished that plainly because I, to be honest, I didn't want to put any trim or anything around it because I just think it would take away from the design itself maybe. So yeah, that is stitched on 25 count vintage sand, I think, or vintage marble, one or the other, can't remember, using a DMC Coloris and DMC 310. And then I finished this one, which is Jardin Prive I Love Sheep, and that was just stitched on an unknown piece of fabric from my stash. I think it is actually like a lilac-y, pale lilac-y colour, and I just spotted this pom-pom trim in my stash and thought that would look good with the blues in her skirt and top. I've had to put the light on because I'm filming later today, and the sun's not in this way anymore, so I've got a light on. Then there's this one, which is the Scarlett House, No Place Like Home, and that's on 40 count sand by Permin, using, I think I used some DMC and one DMC and all the rest fancy flosses. And I've just backed that with that fabric, some chenille trim from the works. This bow I think came off a card, and then I just happened to have a key charm in my stash. And it did have the cover photo for this, it had a key charm on. So that is that one. And then this one is a refinish. This was on the wall in my hallway, and it was a real, I mean, I stitched this back in 2002, so it was just a really silly sort of wall hanging with bamboo cane done together with twine and stuff. So I took it to pieces and I did give it a wash, which, yeah, not the best idea when there was hand-dyed thread, so the reds have bled a little, but that's fine, I'm not really bothered. So this one is Waxing Moon Designs Welcome to the Nut House. So I stitched this in 2002. God, 20 years ago. Oh. So yeah, I took it to bits, give it a wash, and then just backed it in this greeny fabric. Some chenille trim from, I can't remember the name. Victorian Motto years ago. I bought a pack. So that's my refinish. So I'll just put that there. I have had some finishes as well. So the first one is the Prairie Schooler 2019 Santa. Whoops, sorry, bit of glare there. Yeah, this was my Friday night sheep stitch with my dear friend Barb. And I must get the names right this time, because last time I didn't on some of my sals. So this is 18 count, I think it's a raw, is it called Flurber or something? Not entirely sure. And that is stitched all in DMC. And I've left off, it's like a running stitch border, I've left that off. I wasn't particularly bothered about that, so that is all finished. So I'm hoping to get this fully finished before Christmas, so I can display it. And then my next finish is this one, which is Erica Michael's Stitch All the Things, which was a sale that I was hosting with Dawn, Frosty X Stitch. And we have Elaine, Ellie Welly Stitcher, Amy J Creations was Finished Hairs, Mary, madmarytwo on Instagram, and Barb, BattyBat210 on Instagram, and Mouse, talesofastitchingmouse. And Dawn's Finished Hairs as well. Barb's Finished Hairs. Yeah. So I stitched mine on a piece of, I think it's like a cream, 28 count, I believe, linen. And that's my finish. I do have to add the buttons yet, but I'm just waiting until I've ironed it first. And I don't want to iron it until I'm ready to finish it. I'm going to finish it like this. It won't have that on it because I'm no good at cutting out things like that. So I'll see if I can find some fabric in my stash and then put I've got the tape measure trim and finish it like that. So thank you to those of you who joined in with Dawn and I on that. I've really enjoyed that. And then my final finish is Hands Across the Sea Samplers, God Save the Queen, Long Live the King, which is a free design on their website. So I decided, rightly or wrongly, to stitch this on 1/1 on 25 count vintage. I don't know whether it's marble or sand, I can't remember now. I can never remember the difference between the two, but so that is the top. I've nearly got it finished on Monday night. I just had the year to pop on, so I sat down and did that yesterday afternoon. And then this is the strip for around the side. So I think that it's going to be really fiddly, I think, to put together because obviously I've made it so tiny. But I'm sure it'll be fine once I get going with it. So those are all my finishes. So of course, because I've had finishes, I've had new starts as well. So my first new start was for Black Sampler November. Yeah, that's right. And this is Stitches Through the Years Black Sampler. And that is a free design. And if I remember, I'll link to a link tree where there will be a link to her freebies, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I decided to stitch for Black Sampler November. This is the first time I've done it as well. I didn't do it last year. I thought about it and then didn't. So this is stitched on 1/1 25 count vintage marble. So that's vintage sand. That's vintage marble. And that's as far as I've got on that. I'm really enjoying stitching this. It's a really lovely stitch. So still quite a lot to do yet, but that's fine. There's still plenty of time in November, hopefully. Stitching in DMC 310. I forgot that piece of information, didn't I? Oops. And then my next new start. I don't like this floss tube without the bird, without Freddie singing away in the background. I don't like it. So this is my next new start, which is With Thy Needle and Thread, Bells of Christmas. And I've started with this one here. So this is for my Friday night sheep sale with my dear friend Barb. And I'm stitching this with mostly DMC. There isn't a conversion chart on here, so I just went online and tried to find a conversion. So yeah, mostly DMC, but I did have Oscar, and I also had Poblano pepper, but I've had to sort of pick and choose because all the Poblano peppers I've got are different shades of grey, greeny, turquoise, whatever. So those are the threads. I'm not using that Poblano pepper because it's too dark. I'm using that one, which is a bit more like the colour on the picture. And I'm stitching this on 36 or 35-36 count pearl grey linen. I think you can just see, only just see. But obviously once I get the other colours in, it'll stand out a little bit more. So I am planning on stitching both of those. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to finish them off. Well, I want to finish them off like they are, like bells, but just exactly what they'll turn out like is a different matter. It probably won't look much like a bell. So those are my two new starts. I might have a new start next Monday, but then I might not. I might just stitch on something that I've already got started. So, on to whips now. So my first whip that I have to show is Cottage Garden Samplings Christmas Eve. Really enjoying this. Really enjoying this. I mean, this cape is just fantastic. And that's what drew me to this design, was the cape. Absolutely love it. So I'm stitching this on 40 count vintage country mocha. I'm using the 2 called for Gentle Arts and the DMCs. And that's where I'm up to. So I finished all the stitching in Rose Garden. So I'm going to fill in all the trees and the snowflakes and the 2 reindeer there when I pick it up again. There is an awful lot of stitching in this, an awful lot, but it just makes me happy when I'm stitching it. It's so pretty. So that is that one. And then my Saturday night BBD stitch with my lovely friend Lainey is Blackbird Designs Willow House. And I did a conversion to DMC for this, but I have the conversion for the colour for the house I didn't really like, so what I've done, I've just gone through my fancy floss and I've picked out Gas Liberty for the house. Oops. And I'm stitching this on 40 count vintage country mocha. And that's where I've got to. So I do really, really like this house colour. Unfortunately, some of the smearners in the roof don't stand out very well. I think I maybe should have picked a lighter colour for that, but anyway, never mind. I'm not picking them out now. It can stay. Do excuse the state of my nails. That one broke really low down. And then I just cut them all. I don't know why we say that. I don't know why I say, please excuse the state of my hair and please excuse the state of... You hate to see the stitching. Right, next whip. I swear I've forgotten something. So my next whip is Blackbird Designs What Remains, and this is the Tuesday night BBD sal that I am doing with Barb and Mouse. Because on my last floss tube I said Barb and Lainey. Sorry Mouse, I really do apologise. She does tell me off as well. Well, not really tell me off, she just tells me. So yeah, that's my Tuesday night stitch. And I'm stitching this in all the call for colours, the fancy flosses, except I did swap out Schneckly for Whiskey, because my Schneckly did not look like it should, or like it looked on here. So this is 35 count Winter Moon by Zweigart. And would you look at that, my border met. That inner border actually met. So since I last showed this, I filled in all the satin stitches, I filled in the smearners, I've got all the birds in, so it's all complete apart from there should be birds at the bottom, but I think I am going to do some sort of personalisation. I've not sorted it out yet. I need to sit down and think about it and do a lot of counting and make sure my maths is right, because we all know, you know, how these things go. Yeah, so that might be finished by the time I film next. We shall see. And I know you've seen these many times before. Those are my flosses, very messy flosses. I don't know how people keep them tidy. I really don't. They must spend hours redoing them or something. And then my final whip is, wait, I just need to turn because I've left it on the chart page, so I just need to turn it over, is Barbara Anna Designs Dreaming of Van Gogh. And I'm using all the fancy. No, I'm not using fancy. I'm using DMC. DMC's fancy enough. DMC's fine. I have nothing against DMC. Yeah, using DMC. And I am using the Call for 28 count navy. And that's where we're at. I should have had something to put behind it. I always do this, don't I? I always seem to manage to forget something to put behind it. So there we go. So still got quite a lot to do on this. It does seem to be such slow going. And I really would like to get it finished this month, but I don't think it's going to happen. There's too much to do. But doesn't she look lovely? Really, really pleased how she's stitching up. So that's a final whip. So she'll be coming out tonight, and hopefully I'll get a good bit done on her. Right, so as I said, I've got a little bit of, that's going to fall on the floor. I've got a little bit of haul, which I pre-ordered from Patchwork Rabbit, and that's the 2023 Book of Days. So as soon as Carla put the pre-order up, I went and I pre-ordered one because I wanted to make sure that I got one. They were the only place doing pre-orders here. So, and it's I won't flick through it because I know Michelle, Mama Loves You GB, she just showed it in her Sunday morning briefing. So I won't do that. And I also renewed my sub to the Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. I just went with the 1 year with access to all the back issues. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with that. An awful lot in it that I would like to stitch. When I'll get round to it all, who knows, but I've got it. Right, plans. And I know it's because I've got another floss tube before December, but my lovely friend Chris and I, we've done a December sal for, and I always do this every year. How long have we done it for? And I always get it wrong. I think this could be our 15th year. Not entirely sure. I never am entirely sure. And I was wrong last year. So we had sort of earmarked possibly doing one particular thing. And then I got the chart out. It was a freebie chart last year, and I got it out and I thought, I don't want to do this. So I said to Chris, would you mind if we do something, if I do something different? So I showed her what I wanted to do, and I think she's going to do this one as well. And it's Stitches Through the Years, The Joy of Winter. Again, this is a freebie. and I will try and remember to link it. And I think that is just a beautiful, beautiful design. So she's actually model stitched that, or whoever does her model stitching, on 45 count. Well, I ain't doing 45 count. So I don't know what I'll do it on, but I shall find something. And it's all done in DMC as well. So yeah, Chris and I will be starting that in December. And then I was watching Lynn the Lancashire Stitcher on FlossTube, and she's Mrs. B1968 on Instagram. And she is doing a seasonal sale. I know she mentioned it not in her last FlossTube or FlossTube before, and then she's gone into more detail in her latest FlossTube, so I'll pop the number of that down below if I remember. And when she mentioned it the first time, she's doing the seasonal ladies by Lavender and Lace, and I thought, oh no, I don't want to do those. They're lovely, but they're not for me. So the idea is that you stitch, I think it was starting the 21st of December, so the first day of winter. You stitch on something winter, and then spring, stitch on something spring, and so on and so forth. And you put your winter piece away, pick up your spring piece. And I wanted something to do that I could hopefully get done within that season, rather than having to put it away and get it out again the following year, because that would just drive me mad. I admire anybody that can do that, can have lots of whips and just put them away and then get them out again later on. I can't do that. It's just not, it's not in my nature, and I don't think it would be good for me, the way I like to do things. So anyway, she like I said, she explained more and said, you know, you don't have to do fancy ladies, you don't, you know, you just do pick up something that's seasonal that you want to stitch. So I am going to do, surprise surprise, Barbara Anna's. So what I have picked out, I've picked out Dancer for my winter one, and this is from the 2021 Christmas Winter PMPS magazine, but it is now available as a standalone chart as well. I think she's just released it, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it on the call for fabric, and I think the threads are all DMC. I'll have to have a look and just make sure that there aren't any of the variations that I don't have. And then for spring, this one is from the 2020 spring issue of PMPS. It's Spring in My Heart. And then for summer, I'm going to do Sailing Dreams. And then for autumn, I'm going to do this one, which is from the 2021 fall PMPS magazine. And this is Autumn Squirrel. So those are my plans. They could change. But yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do for that. So if you're watching, Lynn, just, you know, let me know whether that's okay. I'm assuming, you know, she did say that you don't have to do fancy ladies. So. And then the thing that I want to start once I've finished Dreaming of Van Gogh, which hopefully will be before Christmas, is this one. And that is Christmas Window. And it's from the latest issue of PMPS magazine. It's, Christmas Winter issue. So I want to start that. So those are my plans. Whether they will come into fruition, I do not know, but we shall see. Oh, not doing bad actually. I thought this was going to be a bit of a long one. So you may remember in my last floss tube, I showed my framed Hands Across the Sea samplers Annie Bayliss 1887, and I said that the frame had a Sandman Originals piece in it, and I didn't want it on the wall anymore. Well, I hadn't had it on the wall for a long time. And Jo, Booze Mummy 11, I think she is on Instagram. Sorry, Jo, if I've got that wrong, but you know who you are. She asked if she could see what was in it, so that was what was in it. So I think what I'm going to do is take this out of here and maybe finish it into a little pillow instead. Because even though I don't want it on my wall anywhere anymore, I think I would quite like to display it for winter. Although this time, when we put the Christmas tree up last year, I tried to get everything, Christmas, winter, stitching, out. It just didn't work. I didn't have room for everything, and so I think what I'm going to have to do this time is just put Christmas up for the amount of time that the tree's up, and then put winter out once Christmas has gone away. So that's that. And I think that is all of my stitching and everything. Oh, another plan I have, and I haven't brought the magazine in actually. And you may think I'm mad, but I want to stitch a star, and it's going to be Freddie's star. And I want to hang it from where his cage hung, because we have my brain's gone. Just a shelf bracket. We have a shelf bracket up on the wall, and his cage hung from that. And obviously now it's just a shelf bracket with no cage. So I decided that I wanted to stitch a star for Freddie, and I've been searching. I asked if anybody had any suggestions on my Facebook, and a couple of my lovely stitching friends, Lisa, she's not on, I don't think she's on Instagram, and she's not on YouTube, and the lovely Dawn, Frosty X Stitch, were helping me out, and I couldn't find anything. And then I remembered I'd stitched JBW, I think it's just called Star, I'm not entirely sure, I can't remember, from one of the JCS ornament magazines, and I thought maybe I could use that but make it look less Christmassy. So I'm going to stitch that, and I think what I'm going to do is stitch it on, I won't say a darker fabric, but a fabric that white will show, because Freddie was white. He was white with bits of grey and the odd bit of black, just depending on how his feathers came through after he'd had a moult. So I think I'm going to do that. It is stitched 1/1 on 28 count, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to use a darker fabric. I don't want to do it 1/1. So yeah, just because obviously I don't want to take the bracket out yet. That was one of the first things that my husband's auntie said, will you get another one? And I just went, no. Not for, if we do, it won't be for a while yet. I think when we lost Billy the third, we were a good 6-8 months before we got Freddie, because we just couldn't, and I know that we just can't. So yeah, so that is all of that lot. Husband's auntie is still in the home. They are trying to get her up walking more, walking with a frame. But I'm not so sure that she's going to actually go home again. I think she might end up having to stay. And then the kitchen, yes, the kitchen saga. I did say that there was some There was a company coming, but we didn't know what they were coming for. So what they did, they drilled some holes in a few areas around the kitchen extension, and also a few areas on the house itself. And they put white collars in, and then took measurements. And then they'll come back every 6 weeks for up to a year and take measurements. And it's basically to see whether it is just the kitchen extension that's moving or whether the house is moving as well. Well, we've no cracks anywhere else, so it's probably just the house, but obviously they don't want to start doing work on the kitchen extension and then realising that the house is moving as well. So fingers crossed, because yeah, so I think that's that. And do you like my sweatshirt? Resting Stitch Face, and that is from Innocent Burns. I got an email to say that she had a discount voucher on the go, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to treat myself to one, so I did. And it's nice and snug. It's nice and snug now. It's lovely and warm, is what I was trying to say. And I got a medium, and then I've got quite a bit of room in it actually, which I was quite surprised about. And then I can layer when it gets cold. And we've actually had our central heating on because I needed to get some washing dry. It was a rubbish weekend. Couldn't get the washing dry. Don't have a tumble dryer. Couldn't afford to use a tumble dryer even if we had one, with the cost of energy now. So put the heating on. Nearly died when I saw how much it was costing us an hour. So it's gone off again. So for the time being, it will just be going on when I'm desperate to get my washing dry. Right, that's everything, I do believe. So again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you have done recently. The usual happened, and I lost a few subscribers the last time I put a floss tube up, and then I got a few more, not too many. I know my views were down last time. Maybe it was the screen grab that people didn't like because I had my eyes closed. But yeah, what will be will be. So I will be back in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Excuse me. Got my COVID vaccination. Oh yes, that was something else as well, I forgot. God, she's not going yet. Bloody hell, she's thought of something else. The last time I filmed, I'd had my flu jab that morning. Did mention that. And I was going to bed that night, and I just rubbed where I'd had my flu jab, and I could hear fluid. And I'm like, oh my God, that can't be normal. I thought, oh well, it'll go, it's fine. And then the following night, my husband listened, and he suggested that I go back to the pharmacy where I had my vaccination done, just to get it checked out, which I did. It was really swollen. It was, you know, quite, yeah. And it was red and warm. But anyway, the pharmacist said it was perfectly normal, and just to massage it and put heat on it, which I did. But I didn't feel well. I think it was probably the Tuesday after I'd had it done before I started to feel something like I had a headache that I couldn't get rid of, and a sore throat, and I even did a COVID test just in case, but that was clear. So I'm not looking forward to my COVID booster this Friday. I was talking to my sister-in-law this morning, and she'd had the flu and COVID one both at the same time, and she'd been quite poorly, so I'm quite pleased I didn't do that. And my husband didn't either. He was going to, but then he didn't. He had them separate. Anyway, yes, that's it. I'm done now. I'm not going to think of anything else. So thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate the views, the comments, the likes, and obviously people subscribing as well. Thank you so much. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It really, really means a lot. So I will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Happy stitching. Thanks for watching. Bye.